This offseason has been pretty underwhelming for the Seattle Mariners. For a season they had in 2022 where they finally made the playoffs for the first time since 2001 and was arguably one of Houston's toughest opponents for their World Series run, you would think that the management of the Mariners would actually be aggressive in the offseason to build a team to compete for the World Series, but that hasn't exactly happened. The only notable moves the Mariners really made was trading for Teoscar Hernandez, which was basically just replacing Mitch Haniger. Trading for Colton Wong was basically a cheap way of replacing Adam Frazier. And the Mariners signing yet to be proven Trevor Gott to a cheap contract. Meanwhile, within the Mariners' own division, they have watched the Houston Astros sign Jose Abreu, Texas Rangers signing Jacob deGrom, and Angels signing Tyler Anderson. Now, I'm not saying that the Mariners should have went for those guys, but if other teams within the division are being aggressive in the offseason, then the Mariners should be doing the same. Something that was even more disturbing was when Jerry Dipoto admitted his true intentions for the 2023 offseason and going forward. Here's what he said.
Some folks out there who hear that, and what they hear is, so you're not interested in spending more money, that the organization doesn't want to spend. Can you just take us through it again a little bit in a little bit more depth? How does that blend with the organization's payroll and ability to go out and bring in free agents?
Well, some of it is about payroll. You know, like with each of the other 29 teams, we're working on a payroll budget. Ours might be different than the Yankees or the Dodgers, and we are generally a middle of the market, franchise. We tend to land right in the middle in terms of revenue, oftentimes in terms of payroll. With some of the escalating player costs that we anticipate with the coming arbitration of guys like Logan Gilbert and George Kirby and Cal Raleigh, we have more future commitments, 2024 and beyond, than all but two teams in baseball. So we have spent our money.
We have spent our money. We have spent our money.
1 or 2 year hits where you can fit players in and not grossly move your payroll 3 years down the road, because we don't want to be in a situation where what we think are our foundational players, we don't want to ever be in a situation where those guys don't fit for us.
Like, I understand the Mariners are looking at the future and wanting to lock up the likes of Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, and Cal Raleigh, but those three are not necessarily going to be free agents until at the latest 2028 due to having years of club control. There is a solid time frame to increase payroll to compete for the World Series. And even if a free agent doesn't work out, I'm sure that they would be off the books by then to extend some of the young talents. And that is if they actually develop into all-star quality players. Do you think teams like the Dodgers and the Astros care about their payroll? Not really, since they still go after quality players in free agency while also maintaining an established farm system. As long as your farm system is well operated, then taking risks isn't that big of a deal. But ultimately, I can't blame Jerry Dipoto for much of his intentions. It goes to the man beyond Jerry. It is John Stanton, current owner of the Seattle Mariners since 2016, who in my opinion isn't that much different than the last ownership group. He is the one that would be giving permission on increasing payroll, and he seems to be very picky when to actually spend the money. And yes, the Mariners did spend money on Robbie Ray, extend Luis Castillo, and extended Julio Rodriguez, which the Mariners got a good deal on him, by the way. But that doesn't mean the Mariners should just stop there. Previously, us Mariner fans have seen this before. Whenever the Mariners have a contending team, they don't tend to spend the money. They did the same thing in the 1990s and the early 2000s, where former Mariners president Chuck Armstrong, former CEO John Ellis, and the other former CEO Howard Lincoln, who were adamant about minimizing their payroll, costing the Mariners not only an opportunity to win the World Series, but also lost their superstars. But yet they opened their payroll for the incompetent Bill Bavasi when he was allowed to spend money aimlessly on lesser quality players, and that just speaks pure hypocrisy. Now here are the holes for the Seattle Mariners going into 2023. In left field, Mariners should be looking at players like Brandon Nimmo, Michael Conforto, and Masataka Yoshida. As of now, Jared Kelenic is the projected starter, but expecting a breakout from him is just too much to bank on since he has a very disturbing strikeout to walk ratio, and he is just purely inconsistent with his bat, leading him to be bounced between the major leagues and the minor leagues for the last 2 seasons. But if the Mariners commit to him for 2023, he needs to have a breakout year. Otherwise, the Mariners pretty much just traded away Edwin Diaz for nothing. Now, I still support that trade to this day, as I believe Kelenic can still develop into a star because the talent is there, but in order for the Mariners to at least break even on that trade, he has to step up. Hopefully he is developing himself for the 2023 season. Kelenic should not be given the left field job without competition. He He should have to compete for it, especially with the amount of opportunities that were given for him, but personally, I would not expect the Mariners to go for any of these quality free agents for the outfield, given their intentions with their payroll. And another reason why the Mariners should be going for another quality outfielder is because you've already seen injuries from Julio Rodriguez and Sam Haggerty, so having some insurance would be nice for this team. Another hole that I believe the Mariners should be filling is the bullpen. Now, I may be criticized for this, and so be it. Although the Mariners finished top 10 in the major leagues in ERA, they were the third worst in the playoffs, and it was well proven in their Game 1 meltdown against the Astros in the American League Division Series. This did prove that the pitchers in the bullpen may not have the mental factor to take on playoff quality teams, and I still stand on Scott Service's mismanagement in Game 1 with his pitchers, and that was even before I get to the Robbie Ray decision, as if I've already mentioned it in this channel countless times. Since the Mariners gave up Eric Swanson for Teoscar Hernandez, Mariners should get a quality pitcher from the bullpen with more experience to either close games or set up for possibly potential closer in Andres Munoz if he does get that job. Getting Trevor Gott is just not enough to solidify the bullpen. Bottom line, if the Mariners do not make any quality moves from this day forth, don't expect them to make the playoffs, unless the likes of Trevor Gott, Jared Kelenic, or even Evan White improves for 2023, and other rising stars of the Mariners don't regress. But those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comments on what you think the Mariners should do for the offseason. And if you did like this video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more content. Not only will I do current Mariners updates, but also expect videos covering the history of the Seattle Mariners. Thanks for watching.